Stop it. We are playing some classical music here and we don't want interruptions from you, so you no guitar. No, not even a teeny little bit of guitar. Clear up. Go on. No guitar.
Greetings, cats and kittens, autumnal greetings on this early November day. Welcome once again to Baggy Hi-Fi, this YouTube channel devoted to record collecting and the VC, the vinyl community here in the UK. This is going to be a simple catch-up video showing recent records which have come my way, recent vinyl finds. And as the cliche goes, without further ado, let's get on with it. So here is this first record. I want to show a reissue of a 1984 album. Comes under the title of Rainy Day, and it's a record that was made, you may know, by members of various Paisley Underground bands from LA, so the mid-80s. I think this is 1984. Features a lineup which includes Susanna Hoffs from the Bangles, David Roback and Stephen Roback from Rain Parade, Michael Quercio from the 3 O'Clock. Who else is on here? Yeah, Carl Precoda, and also Kendra Smith from Opal. So it's an album that was put together of cover versions. It's very nicely chosen cover versions. I'll keep it with mine. Remember Nico recording that on the Chelsea Girl album, and this is sung here by Susanna Hoffs. Does a nice job. She also sings I'll Be Your Mirror, the Velvets tune. There's also a version of Sloop John B, John Riley, and very, very nice. Never was able to get an original of this. Comes out on Coke bottle vinyl. I think I'll have to take it out of this plastic bag because the pressing isn't that good. There seems to be quite a lot of static on it, but very glad at last to have at least a reissue of this album, Rainy Day. Now this one I got when I was down in Norfolk, scouring through the charity shops and a few antique shops, and the very last shop I went to had this, the Rutles album. Yeah, Warner Brothers. When did this come out? 1978. Now believe it or not, this is Eric Idle and co and Neil Innes doing their Beatles pastiche thing, Dirk, Nasty, Stig and Barry. I've never seen the original TV programme, The Rutles, but was aware of the music. And this is I think an original with a nice little booklet. The pastiches are so well done. I think particularly the sort of later Beatles tunes, the sort of psychedelic ones and Abbey Road era, Let It Be era, they really are very well done. I'm sure all of you will have heard Cheese and Onions and various other. So I'm really glad to get this. I must see the film someday, the TV film. The Rutles. The Rutles story is a legend, a living legend, and a tribute to semi-legendary group who made the 60s what they are today, the Prefab Four. Now, I think in one of my recent videos, I told you that I'm a late convert to the band Shack, Michael Head's band. I mean, still recording under various other names. And this is one that was gifted to me. Shack, Here's Tom with the Weather. Probably even better than the last Shack album I showed. This is from 2003, I think, or 2005, around about that time. Anyway, again, the Arthur Lee love influences is definitely there. Very sort of woozy, moody tunes, quite gentle, really. Beautiful songs like Birds Turn to Stone, As Long As I've Got You, Kilburn High Road. And this cover was taken in the 60s by a photographer, which I have a book of, and I should have brought the book to show you in this video. But yeah, he was a photographer who took pictures of sort of the changing face of Liverpool in the 60s as the old kind of slums were being knocked down and replaced by high-rise buildings. So that's Shaq with Here's Tom with the Weather. Now, this one I was really excited to find out about, that that the Gerson label, fantastic label for reissues of psychedelia and obscurities, and a Spanish label, Gerson. Anyway, The Eyes, one of my very favourite freak beat 60s bands, and this is a lovingly put together compilation of nearly all of their recordings. Now, The Eyes were a sort of 1965-66 band. Again, one of those great 60s groups that never should have made it but didn't. Famed for their, well, maybe not famed because I don't think their outfits were that great, but sort of some pop art outfits of these rugby shirts with an eye sewn on the front. But Cork, I remember when I first heard When the Night Falls, I think on one of the Bam Caruso Rubble compilations. I was sold then, really, and it's appeared on many compilations since. Just really savage Who style, snotty freak beat, pre-psych really, but lots of feedback and echo and slashing Townsend style guitar playing. Really nice booklet that comes with it as well. There they are in their rugby shirts. So it features, begins with the A and B side of what was really just must be one of the greatest 60s UK singles, When the Night Falls and I'm Rode Out, which I'm going to do a needle drop of. Really well put together record by Gerson. The other side has demos. Now, Bam Caruso did put out 2 releases, I think, in the 80s of the 60s recordings, but it's nice to have them all together and done so well. The Eyes with My Degeneration. And finally, before we have some needle drops, Dale Gatefold 33 recently showed this reissue of the Soft Boys, Underwater Moonlight from 1980. Bit of an Obi strip there. This is put out on an American label. Very, very solid cover, very glossy. So this is Robin Hitchcock's band. This is their second album. Again, been after an original of this, but never seen one. This set the scene really for all the music that Robin Hitchcock has been doing ever since. Jangly, Birds influenced, I guess. Surreal lyrics, very English sounding. Can't really mention Robin Hitchcock without mentioning Syd Barrett, I guess, that influence. But this came out, you know, when punk was really still at its height, and post-punk, not very typical of the music of the time. In the booklet in here, Robin Hitchcock speaks about, you know, that they didn't really have punk cred at all because they were middle-class boys, influenced by psychedelia, and, you know, it didn't really fit in with the times. But nevertheless, it is sort of, you could say it was sort of new wavy power pop as well, but not a bad track on here. It starts off with I Want to Destroy You and Queen of Eyes, which I think I'm going to do a needle drop of. So very nice to have Underwater Moonlight by the Soft Boys after all this time. Let's have some needle drops.
You're a queen, and there ain't no Anything on and off, it's the queen of eyes, with a compilation and her black face skies. I don't know why she never gets anywhere with you. Bucky the pig is out on a limb. He's looking for someone to investigate him. I don't know why he never gets anywhere with you. Here I am again, it's no surprise. Locked in open ground, with our eyes. All I ever got from her was lies. In this horrible age of abuse and decay, it's not a sign that it's looking okay. I don't know why she never gets anywhere with you.
This next record I bought at the same time as I bought that Rutles album when I was in Norfolk. And it was a £2 record, which I thought was certainly worth checking out. Now, I think I have shown some John Betjeman albums before with him reading his poems, those ones that he made in the 70s, which are very good. But this one is, the words of John Betjeman's poems, but music by Mike Reid. That's DJ that used to be on Saturday morning TV and also on Radio 1. He's now on Talking Pictures as one of the footage detectives. Getting on a bit now. Anyway, I knew he was involved with some musical enterprises. This is from 1990, and it is John Betjeman's poems set to music. And look who's on here. David Essex, Justin Hayward, Steve Harley, Donovan, Alvin Stardust, Captain Sensible, Ian McNabb of the Icicle Works, Annie Haslam. And actually the track I like the best on here, it's quite sort of successful, I think. The track I really like on here is by Captain Sensible doing Parliament Hill Fields. And that, really that combination of Betjeman's very English poetry and Captain Sensible's sort of UK psych punk sensibilities works very well. So yeah, definitely poetry in motion, words of John Betjeman, music by Mike Reid. Definitely worth £2. This next one's a 12-inch by a band I didn't really know anything about called the Trypes. I think this is from the 80s. The Explorer's Hold, sort of a mini LP, I guess. But it features Glenn Mercer and I think maybe some other members of the Feelies. Now you remember the Feelies as having that very sort of dry, strummy Velvet Underground third album sound really on their recordings. This is a little bit similar. It does have a version of Love You Too, which I think is a George Harrison song, and but it has a much more lush instrumentation on here, which includes woodwind and keyboards as well. So it's not that really kind of stripped down Feelies sound, but nevertheless does have a Feelies feel about it. So there's the Trypes and the Explorer's Hold. Now I guess it wouldn't really be a Baggy Hi-Fi video without showing a Hawkwind record. And this is not a Hawkwind record actually, but it's a Hawk Lords record, and it was the name they were going under just for a very short time. And it's 1979, and it is includes a version of PXR5, and which of course was a Hawkwind song. A friend of mine spotted this in a charity shop, and so I had to snap it up. Limited edition on Charisma, 25 years, and also PXR5, and Only the Dead Dreams of a Cold War Kid. I think Robert Calvert is involved with this. I might be wrong, but it really is that sort of fairly kind of hard-hitting, almost punkish style that they had around about the time of PXR5, but of course with the Hawkwind, Hawk Lords, sci-fi tweaks to it as well. So that's a record I've not seen elsewhere. Hawk Lords 12-inch single. This record I did have many years ago, and I thought I still had it, and I just wanted to play it one day when I heard that David Thomas had died, the singer of Pere Ubu. This is a collection of their very first singles, which came out in between 1975 and 1977. Band from Cleveland, Ohio. These were released on David Thomas's Hawthorne label, and so ahead of their time. I mean, this is around about the time that things were happening in New York, which are more kind of punk, but what was happening in Cleveland was much more sort of quite more strange, I guess. Influenced by Velvet Underground, Frank Zappa, the Stooges. And when I say it sounds industrial, I don't mean it sounds like Nine Inch Nails. I mean, it sounds probably like this picture on the back. Quite sort of grim and dark. But this is when they had the lineup with the twin guitar lineup, which was Peter Luffner, who I think died, and Tom Herman on guitar, David Thomas on vocals. Data Panic in the Year Zero. Radar Records put this out in the late 70s, 1978, when Pere Ubu were coming to the attention of people at that time with the album The Modern Dance, and then many, many recordings after that. But unique band, really. I have loved listening to this again and having it back in the collection. Heart of Darkness, 30 Seconds Over Tokyo, Cloud 149, Untitled, which is really the song that became the modern dance, and Heaven from 1977. Fantastic. Way ahead of its time. Finally, quite a recent record that I've heard people speaking about, and I streamed it and thought, wow, that is really, really different. And I can't pronounce the name of this band. There are 3 women in this band, Tristwch y Fenywod. They record exclusively in Welsh, and the instrumentation's quite strange, very witchy, very pagan sounding. I didn't realise they sounded so much like Dead Can Dance until someone really pointed it out to me. But yeah, so the instruments are bass guitar, very sort of heavy sounding bass guitar, a bit like sort of Steve Severin reminds me of Susie and the Banshees. It is kind of Welsh witchy goth with a few 4AD touches to it. Very spooky. And yeah, the bass guitar, electronic drums, and a custom made sort of zither, amplified zither. I'm going to have to do a needle drop of this so you'll know how spooky it sounds. So Tristwch y Fenywod. That's to end this this video of recent vinyl finds. Hope to see you soon. Hope don't leave it as long next time, but I do have some more records to show you. Bye bye for now.
In the hills of dawn, and a metal dragon lost in time, skimming waves of an underground sea, with some kind of dream world fantasy. Circle on a canopy, 25 erasing my cracking sea. I led the timber of an alien land, and time to get ourselves to straight.